Hello and welcome to Rambles number 65. Picturing it in my head. I have been for like 10-15 minutes now trying to find a way to shoot with natural light in my house, in my office here, and not have mad reflections on my glasses. But sorry, this is what we got. I I'm going to talk a little bit today about being genderqueer and specifically about sort of um, the journey that it took to kind of come to the place that I have currently come to with my gender. I watched sort of a metric fuck ton of agender and non-binary YouTube videos last night, and they are lovely. And I really appreciate everyone who makes videos about gender and sexuality and all of this stuff because, well, we didn't have YouTube when I was young, so I'm just delighted that it exists. And I also want to kind of represent for those of us who were born a while ago. um, because, and I was born in the early 80s, so that is my frame of reference. I kind of came up in the 90s. And that is the experience from which I am speaking. So I actually made notes. I know it's like very rare, but I did because it was kind of important. I wanted to hit some things. So back in the dark ages, the not that dark ages in the 90s, they just feel dark now because it's a long time ago, apparently. Uh, I mean, when Metallica is playing on the oldies station, I can't even. Right, back in the 90s, the word trans meant binary. It exclusively referred to uh, being either a man or a woman and having the body of the opposite of that man or woman that you were. Um, and that's not a place that had a home for me because I was socialized as a little girl and didn't want to be that, and definitely in no way wanted to be a boy. And there was sort of so I tried so hard to be a girl, but uh, didn't. It didn't work out. Let's just say it didn't work out. And this really kind of I can't I cannot undersell how much of my life this affected. It affected everything. The sort of gender normative language we use for all the things. From when you're a little kid and you're getting into the boy line and the girl line, and you're a teenager and all of the expectations, to even, I mean, I was always queer. I always uh, had queerness as part of my identity, but I didn't have a home in queer communities because all of the queer identities relied on binary gender when I was growing up. And I know that some people felt that bisexual did not then and doesn't now, but it always felt like not my home to me. So that was really, I think, for me, the hardest part. Harder than being a daughter, which didn't feel like a good word for me. Uh, Harder than being seen as a girl and having those expectations on me. Perhaps not harder than receiving a dress from my grandfather for Christmas for my entire life, which I was then expected to wear. That was upsetting. uh, Dresses. Dresses are actually really cool. I would love to get to a place where I was comfortable enough with my gender queerness to wear dresses. There was, except for the lack of pockets, there's something nice about dresses, but I digress. So it was this thing that kind of affected my whole life and really just felt hopeless. And I'm a suicidal depressive just in general, but I don't think that that's disconnected to the ways that I do not fit in to uh, the culture as it was formed when I was growing up. And I gotta say, had I been born earlier, at any time in history, I would not have survived to adulthood. Like, absolutely not a question in my mind. I barely survived to adulthood in the 90s. So, I, uh, I don't take, I don't take this for granted. Um, at some point in my late 20s, I finally heard the term genderqueer, and that was awesome because I love and have loved since I think I was 12 or whenever I first heard the word queer and was like, yes, this is me. So I loved that word. And really before then, I was kind of using gender fucked, but gender fucked is a little bit, people don't always know. They sort of feel like that's kind of an aggressive way of putting it. So while that is still true, um, I definitely really felt better about the word genderqueer as a term I could use in everyday conversations. Uh, I also wanted to note a thing about pronouns, which I was just telling the story. In the past, when I have had friends who transitioned, I was like the pronoun, like fucking army. I would be like, you use their pronouns, and I would like really forcefully, loudly at times make that point because, obviously I deeply believe that people should be pronounced the way that they need to be pronounced. But I was completely unwilling to do that for myself. And I have seen trans friends do this. I have seen this where they're like, oh no, don't worry about it. Like, that's fine, do whatever. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. And I did that exact thing. I didn't want to, put anybody off. And like my pronouns are Zer, and like that's kind of weird, and people don't always know how to use them. Uh, and a friend of mine sort of uh, enforced my pronouns. And until that moment, I was unwilling to do so. And then when somebody else does it, and you kind of take a step back and you watch that happen, uh, I felt that I needed to then do that, and it's made a huge difference. Now, if someone kind of casually uh, misgenders me in a situation where it makes sense for me to correct them, I do. And also, weirdly, and I know this is kind of going to sound paradoxical, I don't care as much. Like, I certainly notice, but I know my pronouns, and other people not knowing or not understanding how important they are, I guess, affects me less somehow. Uh, Self knowledge, man, is so fucking powerful, but it's so fucking painful. Oh my god, so painful. I did want to end on a note of like, this is a worthy journey. I think the beginning of it is the scariest part, um, and the middle is the most painful. Uh, but it's fucking worth it. It's so worth it. And we have so much more language now. We have so many more communities now. We have the internet, which is amazing. There are message boards and live journals and YouTube videos and entire websites devoted to this shit. Like, fucking shop around. Look at all of the different ways that people identify themselves and see what resonates for you. And I also wanted to say that you can be cis and fuck the hell out of gender every day of your life. You can be totally cool with the gender that you were born into, that your parents thought you were, and still completely fuck with gender all the time. And I love you for that, because what we what we definitely need is more people at all levels of all identities challenging the things that other people don't challenge. So there you have it, my fucking 10-minute video. Sorry about me rambling, or rather of me rambling about gender. I could keep going, I could. I'm holding back. Uh, so I hope that makes things clearer or explains things, or fuck hell, I don't know. But there you have it. Uh, thank you for watching if you're still here. Very much. I appreciate it. And I'm Kris. I will, be back in a bit. I'll see you next time. Bye.